What's up, you guys? Coach James here. Super excited to be sharing one of my first videos for this channel. Today we're going to be going over how to use a polyline, and pretty much this channel is designated for those who are entry-level civil engineers and are pretty much looking to gain or increase their knowledge in Civil 3D. And you are a civil engineer, you're getting into the field, or you're just wanting to learn a little bit more on how to use the AutoCAD Civil 3D software. So I'm going to keep this very raw. I don't edit any of the videos. I just kind of push them out there to you. And so I guess if you see me looking at my notes and things like that, just note that I'm just giving you the information. Hopefully it is very helpful for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So first things first, when you're using a polyline, you first want to get into AutoCAD Civil 3D, right? And once you get in there, you want to type in polyline. Now, a polyline is just, you use polylines when you're trying to trace over an area or outline things like roads or buildings, and you want to maybe determine the area, or you want to just outline a specific thing that you're designing as a civil engineer. So that's kind of why you use polylines, and it's one of the first things that you use once you're getting started. So go ahead and type in polyline, or PL is the shortcut once you get into Civil 3D, and you should see P-line. Alright, so it's saying specify your start point. So for this example, I'm just going to click in here, and as you can see, I'm zooming in. I clicked a point, and now you can see my polyline moving around. So I was going to be tracing something. That's how I would just click on each little area that I wanted to trace. But I want to show you guys some key features that you can use with the polyline. So the first thing is drawing straight lines, because that may be what you need to do for your beginning exercise as a civil engineer. So to draw a straight line, as you can see, even if I do click here, right, that's not straight. And if we want it perfectly straight, then we want to hit the ortho command, or F8. F8 is going to allow us to draw straight lines, either horizontally or perpendicular. So now you can see that is a straight line, another straight line, another straight line, and you kind of go from there. So that's one way that you can draw straight lines with the polyline tool. Now, if you want to go back for any case, just hit Control Z, and it'll allow you to go back on the move, or pretty much the way that you were drawing your last point, from your last point. So now I'm hitting Control Z again, and then Control Z, and now I'm back at my start point. Okay. Next thing is going to be if you're trying to draw a line and you want it to be a specific length. So you may want it to be 100 feet, 200 feet. So what you're going to do in that case is that you're going to use the at and the angle tool to be able to do this. So we're going to turn our ortho off for this particular example, and for this I just want to draw my line 100 feet, and I want it to be 45 degrees. So I want it to be roughly like this, but I want it to be perfect. I don't want to, as engineers, we don't want it to be roughly that number, roughly straight. We want it to be exact. So we can use Civil 3D to do this. So the first thing that you want to do is type out the length that you are, wanting it to be. So for this particular example, I'm going to say we want it to be 100 feet. So I'm going to type in 100. Well, actually first, I'm sorry, we're going to type in the @ symbol. So hopefully you can see down here in my toolbar that I literally put the @ symbol, and then now we put the length. So if we want it to be 100 feet, so you just put it. It normally comes in as feet, so 100 feet, and we want the angle to be 45. So we're going to use the angle command. Hopefully you can see that in the toolbar there. And then we want the angle to be 45. So once you've done that, you're going to hit enter, and now you can see my line jumped, right? It's now 100 feet in length, and it came in at 45 degrees. So now I want to, draw a straight line from that point, but I want it to only be 100 feet. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the @ symbol. We're going to do 100 again, but we want this time for it to be 0 degrees. We just want it to be straight. We don't want it angled or anything. So I'm going to say 0 for my angle. And now it came in 100 feet straight. And then I'm just going to kind of make it look like a chart, I guess. So I'm going to do it again, 100. Well, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting the @ 100 angle, and we want it to be 45. So that's pretty much how you do it. But you can do this with any length and any angle. So specific to your project that you're working on, you're able to make sure that you draw it perfect, right? I'll do it one more time, just for kicks and giggles. Well, that just extended it, but you guys kind of get the point. So hopefully this was helpful. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do an example. So we're going to look at the United States of America. I am from North Carolina, right? I'm not going to trace North Carolina because I think, as we can see, it has a lot of curves and other funky stuff going on. So for this example, we're going to do Nevada. This seems pretty, straightforward, no crazy curves or anything. And also, we'll be able to, it's a lot bigger, so we should be able to see it a little bit better. So I'm going to start out with, like we said, PL for polyline. It is key to note, if you want to click a particular point, right now, we could click here and it'd be a little off. We don't want to do that, right? We want it to be exact. So what we're going to do is we are going to click F3, and that turns our snaps on. So now when I type my polyline tool, now we can see the little corners pop up, right? See the green dots, the green rectangles, so that we can actually trace perfectly our spot. So let's trace Nevada really quick. So we're already in the polyline tool. So we're just going to click each of our points. All right. And this isn't going to be perfect. Well, I like to, I guess, have it be close, but it's not going to be exactly perfect because I want to just make sure let you guys kind of see how you can use the tool. Go from there. And I forgot to mention how to use, or how you can see the length of your polyline. So if you drew it wrong or if you drew it correctly, how to tell whether it's the right length, right angle, yada yada yada. So here we traced Nevada just by clicking on those points. Just click, 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 and of course we turned on F3 to be able to click those perfect points so that we're not off. I said it wasn't going to be perfect, but I just went ahead and made sure I did it. So now we have a polyline, my polyline that I've created, and you can see it highlighted of all the different points that I chose. So let's say that we want to see the area of this, right? We want to know how big is Nevada. And so we're going to click on properties, and to do that you just type PR for properties, and you should see it come up. And you see the color was a bilayer of white. The layer it's on, we can see the length of it, so the total perimeter is that number, and that's in feet. And then we can see this is the area. This is not in acres, this is in square feet, so you can change that to acres and it will be a lot smaller of a number. But this is important when you have your site and you want to know how big your site is, and what you're going to be actually, how you can fit different things onto your site. It's very important to note that this polyline should be closed if we're taking an area. So we want to hit yes. If it's not closed, and that means there's some points that it could be missing, some area that it could be missing, so you just want to make sure that it is flipped to yes. And so now we know our area, right? Okay. Scroll over here and just draw out a line. So if I did it at 100 feet, let's try that again. It might have done it already, and I just didn't. Okay, so if we want it to be 100 feet, so we're just going to type at 100 feet, and we just want it to be a straight line. So it's going to be a 0 angle, right? And so now just going to hit enter, and now you can see this line. We want to check the properties just to make sure that it was 100 feet. You can see the length is 100, so we know we did it correctly. So these are just things that you can check. So yeah, this is a kind of an introduction to polylines and things like that. I'm going to be creating a lot of videos on polylines and just AutoCAD, things that you would need, like labeling, contours, a lot of design stuff, plan production, just a whole lot. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Send it to your friends, your civil engineer friends, whatever, and go from there. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.